what truly makes sense from a business standpoint. Who would be the best candidate? Somebody that's been in business, that has made millions of dollars in the past, billions of dollars in the past, that knows how to negotiate, knows how to talk to individuals, knows how to get what he needs in business.
Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
All right. What's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. We're going to do a recording for Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. And wherever you listen to the podcast episodes, make sure that you hit that subscribe button to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. You'll get the newest notification every single Monday after listening to a couple episodes. Leave that 5-star review, share this out, tag somebody in it that needs to see it. If you have that one person in your family, friends that isn't voting for whatever reason, they don't believe in it, they think their vote won't count, I encourage you to share this with them today. I believe this is going to be one of the most important messages that we need to just be blunt and transparent and vulnerable. And it doesn't need to be a tough conversation, but it needs to be a transparent conversation across the board. And so I'm going to do my part to get my voice and my message out there by all means. It doesn't mean that you need to listen. It doesn't mean that we need to, stop being friends or family if you disagree. It doesn't mean that we need to fight, bicker, and be divided by any stretch of imagination. But I do want to just share a bunch of things that have been on my heart lately and see if any of it resonates with you, or just challenge, friendly challenge to make sure that we're all thinking outside the box and literally challenge everything. I think as a business owner, one of the things that I do is I like getting opinions from every single person and then make my own decision afterwards. Like, gather the intel, get people's feedback, their opinions, put myself in their shoes, and then try to make sense of why somebody is giving me that feedback or that type of opinion. And then afterwards, still make my own decision independently, but I like to get everybody's data, right? And so I think a lot of business owners do the same thing. Critical thinking is important. And I think, at the end of the day, I encourage all of us to be challenging everything that we are soaking up: education, platforms, social media, this podcast, any podcast. Fact check everything so that you can come up with the best decision yourself. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if you guys have all acknowledged this or not, but the news has been guiding us in a direction as a repeated, agenda and a story framed in a certain direction for a long period of time. And you gotta backtrack to see who's controlling the media, who's in power, who has a lot of money, who is dictating certain things, and start realizing that there's a lot of people in positions that you would think are powerful, but instead could potentially just be taking orders from the silent people that are really running this world, this country, and so forth. And, conspiracy theories all start off as conspiracy theories, like whispered down the lane of, oh God, what if this happened? Oh my God, how crazy would that be? Until all of these coincidences turn out to be like, oh, well, that actually turned out to be true, or this turned out to be true, or all these conspiracy theories end up not being conspiracy theories anymore. Then it's like, well, shit, it's kind of wild. And so I want to challenge everybody's thought process today and just thinking outside the box, and understand that here in America, it is the most amazing, beautiful country in the world. That's why so many, people are actively trying to get into this country for the freedom that we represent and that our founding fathers fought their ass over to be able to secure for a very long time. And we can't take this for granted. Like, the only reason that we are still who we are and how we actually have this power still is that our military is the strongest in the world. And the money that we have within our ships and overall the business dealings that we've done to protect the dollar bill, y'all, is really incredible. If you trace back all the craziness that we have done with forcing other countries with trade and business structure, business deals and so forth, to force them to take the dollar, or else we'll cut certain things off. We will post up our military right outside of, their shipping containers, not let people in and out and so forth, and just make it a nuisance for them. And so a lot of this stuff isn't being talked about or isn't being addressed properly, but it's crazy because we have so much bickering and fighting and division within our country as well when it comes down to politics. And in other countries, many other countries, not all, but many other countries are kind of laughing from a distance because they can, in Ireland, we have a good friend, Philip McKiernan, that has always laughed saying they could be at a pub, at a bar, and literally, joke at each other of certain politics of who they are voting for and who they believe in and why this and why that, have a friendly conversation, even bust each other's chops a little bit here and there. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be fighting. They're not they're going to cheers and say, God bless you. And it is what it is. Over there, they'll probably say, luck of the Irish or something. But it just comes down to there's not the strong division like we have over here. We get so offended so hardcore. And it's really sad to see. And especially with Thanksgiving coming up and how much division is in certain families in regards to this. And while a lot of Americans, particularly the last several years, because of what's happening with this administration and kind of the things that are going on, a lot of people have been, I wouldn't say converting, but I guess for better words, converting from, once upon a time Democratic standpoint to more of a liberal or a Republican standpoint and, capitalism and so forth. And I think we all start, a big chunk of us all start with the mindset and the representation of a Democratic standpoint, especially a majority of families are in America and in other places around the world are just, 70% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account for emergencies. What that tells us is that there is a lot of people that are betting and hoping for, kind of the Democratic standpoint of basically robbing from, taking from the stingy rich and giving to the poor type of thing, that Robin Hood approach. So a lot of us start off that way because there's a lot of support and the Democratic Party a very long time ago was actually, there is a lot of good things behind it, standing behind it. I believe over the years, it has definitely gotten out of control in the wrong direction. And again, no, I don't want to make this a red versus blue thing or, a different party type of thing. I truly do believe that even though we think that some of these individuals that are running our country and so forth are representatives, to actually run this free world and they are in power, I really truly believe that they are not. But you got to look back at the narrative and why so many, the news is brainwashing us in a certain direction. And Big Pharma is not being proactive for medicine. They are being reactive and hurting us really in the longevity, but also they're the ones that are also on the front end, owning these chemical companies and these pesticide companies and so forth, where we're getting cancer from and all these other things and food and all the nasty things, right? So you got to realize at the end of the day and fact check everything, challenge everything, but also look at where we're currently at. Why would a billionaire come into a business owner in general, doesn't matter the number, a business owner in general that does not, a very successful one at that, does not need any political anything. Very powerful, money, power, respect in many areas, and doesn't need to take on the responsibility, doesn't need to be attempted to be murdered and assassinated twice already before the election, doesn't need all this chaos, doesn't need the press, doesn't need the hatred, doesn't need it for his family, doesn't need it for himself, doesn't need it in general. Like, who would voluntarily put themselves into it? He's the only president that's not making money during his presidency. And why would somebody put themselves into that situation when all these other Democrats, all these other people in power and political views are constantly becoming mega millionaires while they're in office? And it's mind blowing to me how this is even taking place. How are we not fact checking this and seeing, well, how are you making your business deals? What does that look like? And the endorsements and all these other, back end type of situations. So I just encourage, like, this message right here it's going to stir things up. It's going to piss people off. I apologize in advance. I love you guys regardless. I'm going to do my best to not respond back to anything because I know I'm going to get a lot of crap regardless. I don't really care at the end of the day. I care for just challenging and hoping that something sticks, something hits the brain a little bit of like, I wonder why. I wonder why this means so much to Brandon. I wonder why he's asking me to challenge my thinking on this. That's all I hope at the end of the day. I think this is going to be the biggest, absolute biggest vote in our history. We've already shown factual proof that previous elections and voting habits have been altered and have been tested and tried to be manipulated and have been manipulated in many cases. As far as getting down to the nitty gritty and really doing all the details to prove all the other little things behind it, it's nearly impossible. However, there's already been several facts behind this. And then also showing, just a week or two ago, they announced that you do not need a ID anymore and they can't even be asked to provide an ID to show who they are and show that they can legally vote in California. Why is that? Like, you got to ask these questions. Why would somebody ever do that? You need a ID to drive. You need an ID to update address, to fly. You need an ID to get discounts or all these other things, right? To show up any other government type of situation. It's like, why? What would be the reason except to encourage voter fraud, right? And when that narrative comes into place, that is crazy. We got to try to figure out how to stop things like that. And then also just like the open borders policy. I believe that, like, there's so many people trying to get into America, right? I believe that we should have a better process of bringing good people in, a better vetting process. I've met amazing Mexicans that I'm very good friends with and I've worked with in the past and so forth, that they have literally been fighting with their lawyers and family for like 20 plus years. Good working people that are just amazing, love them, like their hearts are in the right place. They'll invite you over to dinner, go to church with you, like incredible human beings that deserve to be here and deserve to have the rights and that they believe in America and they are supporting and not taking. And it takes like 15, 20, 30 years in some cases. It's incredible. It's horrible. So that needs to be improved. But the open policy of just having anybody come in, I'm sure there's millions upon millions of people coming in almost on a daily basis, which is crazy. But you got to think about the ripple effect behind that. Tons of good people, I'm sure of it. But you got to understand when you have these open policies and it's just people flooding in, the bad people that come in as well. And there's already been signs of good American people that have, their lives have been taken, or shootings and all this crazy nonsense from immigrants that shouldn't be here, shouldn't have access in here and doing horrible things, and already have a murder case and all these other horrible things back where they're from, right? So that's no bueno. That's no good, right? And so in addition to that, though, you got to also, let's just say they're all good people that are coming in, right? What that does for us is it crowds certain, border towns that normally have only a little bit of people. Now it's millions of people there, and it's overwhelming. The cars are being broken into, stolen. People are being found in sheds and in their backyards. They're eating and going to the bathroom, and so feces, urine, traveling with young kids, there's deaths and so forth. There's hospitals being overcrowded and long lines for people, taxpaying Americans that need medical assistance, that are getting, have to be at the back of the line type of thing, first come, first serve. And so you got to understand that we are paying for all of that, our tax money. Well, I don't care if you're a billionaire, a millionaire, or you're barely getting by. Okay, you're paying for that in your taxes. And if you don't pay taxes, then, I'm paying for it. Okay. And there's other people paying for it. And you got to realize that it's incredible what's going on here. In addition to that, also think, why has this political party allowed these open border policies for so long? And especially in the last 2 years, like the last year and a half, just flooding them in intentionally, like having cars and flights, getting people in and into certain states. Okay. They are doing this so that now they can have, and then they take away the option that you do not need IDs to vote. They're doing this so that they can buy votes, so that they can get people to vote for them. And it's like, again, we all grow up typically on the Democratic side because many of us don't come from a lot of money. When you start actually making money, like, you realize that a lot of the Democratic points of views are really against the people starting to make money, middle class. Like, when you start getting more educated behind this, you realize it's not totally in your favor. I believe in government assistance. I believe in Social Security. I believe in a certain help. I believe in it for a certain season in your life, a certain period of time. I believe that if you get breastfed your whole damn life, you're going to be addicted to it. You're going to be lazy behind it. You're not getting the support and the real empowerment that you need to be able to get you off of those things and really make you victorious again on your own. And it's taking away from you. As much as like you think you're getting given to and give, it's weakening our society and making us soft. And that's what I'm terrified for. We've already seen it in our society, and we've seen it within the school systems, and taking, even just within our founding fathers, their statues all around America and within Washington, D.C. and so forth, that it's like these statues weren't by coincidence. It wasn't by accident. There's people that fought their ass off, given their life, and made incredible progress within America to be able to deserve this platform and this statue. And when statues are being knocked down or taken away, and like the police being defunded, you got to understand that when the police is defunded, then what? When they take away our guns and our rights to bear arms, then who's protecting who? Especially when the murderers are coming in from across the border. You got to understand, anybody that's against guns, it's not the gun that kills somebody. It's the mental illness. It's in the narrative that the media is brainwashing us. It's the games that are controlling us and making us not have an out, and people thinking that it's okay to do these things. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather be, if I'm at a function, a party, a location, a rally, or an event, I'd rather every single person there being holding and bearing arms. Every single person. Because if every single person has a gun, then it's very, very unlikely that somebody's going to screw around and mess up. Like F around and find out type of situation. It's like nobody is going to be dumb enough. I don't care how your mental illness is. You know what's coming for you a second later after you pull out a weapon. There's going to be several other arms like bearing right at your head. And so you're not going to make it long versus somebody that's going into a school and blasting up the whole place. And it's just them with a gun versus every single person having one. It's a little different. So it's not the tool, like it's not the weapon that's hurting people. It's literally a tool. So it's the individual, and it's the person not getting enough help. And trust me when I tell you, if everybody's bearing arms, it's going to be a little different. The voting that's going on, or the bills that are being passed from the current administration right now, the things that are going on, you got to understand that it's not in our favor. Like, they just passed another bill that shows that at any type of rallies and so forth, if there is any confrontation, the government has the right to shoot and murder somebody, basically. U.S. citizens on U.S. soil. It's the first time ever that this has taken place and so forth, versus like trying to really be able to slow this down and trying to make sense of it, and peaceful rallies or peaceful, what I forget the word that I'm looking for here. It's at the end of the day, though, it comes down to when people are having these issues and not being vocal about it in a professional way versus having all the nonsense and the fighting and so forth. It's not right. And so I just encourage you, like, I really do want everybody to fact check everything that's going on right now. Even just like Googling, you got to watch everything that the social media, that the news, that just Google in general is providing you. It's not going to tell you the truth. It's not going to tell you the truth. There's websites like DuckDuckGo that will be able to give you the unbiased opinion, like the true facts behind, real stuff that's going on. That's just one out of many. And so the more that you search, you can start finding the truth behind things. There's so many lies that are coming from the Democratic side right now, like the party in place in power right now. It's, there's people on our military side that are overseas right now, crazy numbers that shouldn't be. They left so many, the worst pullout in history of military equipment in the billions that were just left over there, empowering all these other countries to now have all this amazing equipment. When we could have flew it over here, we could have done something. We could have done something to be able to pull it out. The worst in history. And then leaving all of our guys stranded over there too is not just equipment, but literally funding wars over there, spending our tax-paying money over there versus actually, verbally getting out of those situations. See, I believe that a business owner, because running a country is a business. And so you need to have savviness. You need to be a true business owner and figure out, how do I actually be able to talk properly and be able to guide somebody off the cliff and be able to, like, this is like chess, at the end of the day, not checkers here. And you got to be intelligent with each and every move. And so I think I'm very confident that Trump would have been able to talk to these different countries around the world that are fighting right now and be able to talk them off the cliff and be able to bring a resolution that would stop both of them and not have to send all of our money over there when we have homeless people at an all-time high and drugs galore over here and all this other craziness. When that party wants to just increase our taxes, what is that going to do? Or even tax the rich more and business owners, what is that going to do? The business owners aren't going to be able to afford it. They just won't. They're going to shut down. They're going to move in other countries. And you got to understand the ripple effect of what that does. Like, people are complaining about their rent going up and all these real estate investors with, the prices going up. It's supply and demand. And you got to understand how many people that they employ to be able to make it happen. It's mandatory. Nobody's getting rich over here. Nobody's getting rich. It's like, it's forced because of how bad the value has gone down and how much the inflation has gone up. And it's just a mess. And so, like, we have about $100,000 per month that goes out on people that we employ. We have only 3 in the Philippines. We have 1 in Spain, and then everybody else is US based. We have 26 employees just for Credit Counsel Elite. And then for real estate, we have a bunch in other areas as well. We have Detroit, New Jersey, Ohio, Florida, Arizona, and then San Diego. And it's crazy to think about, like, if I wasn't able to do my job, if I wasn't able to, because I'm getting taxed so much up here, like, it would force us to have to go. It's already been forced with so many high level business owners in California, when the numbers just keep going up and they're trying to tax the rich and these big companies. It forces the big companies to leave. It forced Elon Musk to leave California and go to Texas, where it was more affordable. But if it goes any higher, then you don't have a choice. And so all the people that were affected that worked for him in California that couldn't move, what are they going to do? Same thing, like if he has to move from Texas and go to another country, then how many people are we unemploying now? And how many people are getting like struggling? Like just iPhones alone or any cell phone technology. What if we weren't outsourcing it to China? What if we build it cheaply here in America because we were incentivized and had resources to do so? You know, it's like we rely too much on other countries and so forth. So I just think even if just Christians alone went back to the biblical principles, if you just look at biblical principles when you are casting your votes and acknowledging, I don't care if the voting fraud and all this other stuff, if you pray into it and you do your part and you at least put in your vote with biblical principles, then, you know, at least you've done everything on your side. And the good news is I truly believe that, you know, God will always be victorious at the end. But just if Christians voted biblically, then it would be a landslide with the values that Republicans actually stand for versus, you know, with Democrats. That, you know, there's one policy that I always I have mixed views on when it comes down to abortion, for example. Now, abortion, and this is where the last couple of years I've been drawn more towards just being completely 1,000% against it in many ways. But it's really tough. It's really tough because what if somebody gets raped? What if there's, you know, some type of medical, you know, issues and so forth? You know, what's going to take place? The problem here is the more that you focus on biblical stuff and the more people that you start meeting that literally they tried having an abortion, they tried getting rid of this person, whatever it may be. And then the underdog story with these individuals that have come up and the heartbreak that they went through, not feeling enough or being wanted and needed and loved by a good family and so forth, and just wanted to be, you know, given up on. It's incredible some of the impact. I've met several people that have made millions upon millions of people impact. If you just make one person impact, that is more than enough for that life, is it not? So if that's why it's like the human aspect, it's like who are we to decide who should be living or not? And especially such a young life. But check this out. When I don't agree at all when somebody is aborting a pregnancy at 9 months. There's circumstances in certain states and certain individuals where literally the baby was born and you can see everything and literally like, you know, aborting it. How the hell can you abort something like that? There's good families out there that can't get pregnant that will gladly take on a newborn and love, cherish, adore, and be able to give them the support that they need and allow this human being to be able to make an impact and to be able to change the world in so many ways. It's like, if we had more people that just had that support, like the things that Elon Musk has done, can you imagine? Like that could be in anybody. It could be in any human being. And there's so many good people. So who are we to determine? There's plenty of shitheads at the same time, but it's like, who are we to determine that? And so I just encourage, like, if you look at both sides, it's really sad to see how many people, like when I ask, who are you voting for and why? Anybody that is voting for the blue side, voting for Harris or, you know, Joe Biden, that whole side, all the feedback that I've ever gotten was literally just hatred for Trump, just hatred for him. And it's like, I get it, but putting all that to the side without any distractions, without any going down a rabbit hole in the wrong direction, what are you excited about her policies on this? Like, why her? Do you think she can really run a business, a company, a government, the free world, America? Do you think she's going to be able to help our country improve? She's already had 4 years to make impact and to make a difference. how much they've hidden from us with Joe Biden's deteriorating health and so forth. Like, it's just crazy. Our military alone, even the bad mouthing that Joe has done in the past with our military, or Kamala Harris saying at her last rally, like, when people shouted out, Jesus is king. Oh, you're at the wrong rally. That's down the street at a smaller one. Like, are you kidding me? How demonic is that? It's just crazy. You gotta realize that it's not in our favor to have these people in there. And why would Trump, that's already successful, have money and hasn't benefited from being in office, but when he was in office, literally helped our country tremendously. Everything was going up for the better. And then the last couple of years has been just a shit show. Like, why would somebody put themselves through all that heartache and pain and getting shot at and having all this hatred towards him? Trump is not the one dividing people. I've heard other people mention like racism. Fact check it, please fact check it. It's there hasn't been one president that has anything that even come close to it that has supported, the black families in general. While Harris at her events are having Little John and Megan Thee Stallion because she thinks people are going to, black people in general, let's just be blunt about it. She thinks black people are going to relate to that. And how wrong is that? That's not correct. That's not fair. She's playing people to be done. It's the worst thing. Like, so many negative things are being said in those songs from both of those people. Having Eminem support her. It's like, come on. How many things has he said negatively about women? It's like, it doesn't make sense, guys. It doesn't make sense. Fact check everything and check into it. Trump really cares about the military. He's donated, he's supported, he's, what he should have been paid for a presidential salary he's given to veterans and so forth. We've been making a mockery of our veterans and our military from this political side for a long time, and it's sad and it's wrong. And I just encourage, like, it's time that we stand up for this. And I think that we need to realize that the news is lying. It's lying to us. It's wrong. It's guiding us down the wrong direction. That the news, it's not even the blue or the red that is dividing the country. It's not the hatred or anything like that. It's the news that is stirring up chaos. It's George Santos that has like paid and flew people in for this and starting chaos with the whole Black Lives Matter and everything, and the mockery behind all that, and trying to divide the country and defunding the police. There's always bad apples. There's billions upon billions of good people everywhere, and then there's always one or two bad apples everywhere. That's just what it is. At your workplace, at your church, your friend group, there's always one. That's just what it is. And so, at the end of the day, acknowledging that defunding the police isn't going to do anything. That's not going to serve us. Like, we need that support. We need that protection. We need good people in place. We need to give them the support and fund them properly so that they have the mental health resources and the proper training and facilities, and like, they're not using and abusing certain things. They get the proper time off and vacation to clear their head and so forth. Like, we need to be going harder and funding in the right area. Trust me when I tell you, defunding the police, taxing the rich, even higher than what it currently is, that's going to backfire. It's not going to be what you think it is. Giving more handouts and paying off all these debts and everything, like student loans. It's like, yeah, it was wrong, but student loans are so high and everything. But check this out. You signed up for it. You got sold into that BS deal a long time ago. And unfortunately, like, if you sign something, like, commit to it. Like, man up, woman up. That's what it is. It's like, so figure out when there's a will, there's a way. Turn it around. Instead, like, you walking away from your responsibilities and getting things written off, that's not going to serve you. Everybody was so excited during COVID that, when they're getting their free checks, it's like, do you realize that history repeats itself, and the ignorance behind free money. If you don't pay, you don't pay attention. When you get free money, it just all ends up to the rich people again. It all goes back within a couple of weeks. It's all right back to Target, to Walmart, to the only companies that are open. It's like, it's crazy. And I just encourage you to, however you grew up, however stuck you are in the blue narrative, however bad you hate Trump, however bad you hate your uncle or friend or family member or business owner down the street that supports this guy, this Trump, and you're just like, the hostility against that. I just encourage you, take a deep breath, sit back to yourself, and really fact check everything. Fact check everything. Please, please, please. This is the biggest election of our lifetime. And I really do believe, like, if we allow another 4 years in this direction, that where we currently are, it could be really devastating to so many of us, for the economy, for real estate, for businesses, for homelessness, for violence, for just a lot of chaos in the wrong direction. People are going to be homeless because there's already so many people that just can't afford things. And you got to realize, even though, like I was saying before, we pay about $100,000 a month off of all these people that we employ, all of that. You would think that when people are raising their rents and they're making all this money, construction has gone up crazy. I just spent, when I would normally spend $100,000 just a couple of years ago on a renovation, I'm over $300,000 on this one project. $300,000. It's just, it's different. And people that aren't in the business side and taking full responsibility of their situation, it's easy to point fingers and point the blame and all these other things, instead of taking full accountability of your circumstance, of why you're in where you're at. And once you take just like roll call of your situation, then you can start figuring out, how do I make it better, and not relying on the government, being self-independent, and then realizing, like, whatever you signed up for in the past, you can get out of it. You can get into a better situation. It's not going to be handouts. That's not going to serve you. That's not going to serve the country. Somebody has to pay for it at the end of the day. When we send billions upon billions, 60, 70 billion dollars to other countries, that's not serving us. That's not serving you. That's increasing our debt, that's all of our tax money, so it just doesn't make sense. And I just pray that this finds you well today, and that you really fact check everything and not make it into a us versus them or blue versus red or anything. It's just like, what party makes sense? What party stands with biblical principles? What, like, intelligently taking the individuals out of it, taking the personalities out of it, what truly makes sense from a business standpoint? Who would be the best candidate? Somebody that's been in business, that has made millions of dollars in the past, billions of dollars in the past, that knows how to negotiate, knows how to talk to individuals, knows how to get what he needs in business transactions and against savvy people, or people that are being played as a puppet. And as you can tell, like, what they've been doing, it hasn't served us. It hasn't been working out. So anyway, I know this isn't going to resonate with many people. I know this is going to piss off some people, and I apologize in advance for that, but I also don't. It's like, out of all due respect, we are all given the right. That's what one of the best things in America is. We do have freedom of speech. This isn't a communism party, although it could be in the future. Like if you look at how communism started in other countries like China and so forth, you got to realize some of the practices and things that they've been doing. That's how it started over there. The same similar practices that are taking place over here. The same brainwashing that they did. Think about COVID, right? How many, if you didn't get the jab, if you didn't get the shot because you didn't believe in it, the facts and the data that was coming back, it wasn't legitimate. There was lies. There were things that just wasn't adding up. Math wasn't mathing. And so when you were looking at that stuff, and then you see the consequences from other people taking the shots that were having all these effects, or dying, or having other issues and making it worse, you were looking at it like, my God, like, And then looking at the true facts, that it was less than 0.001% or so forth of what the actual true death rate was. Obviously, if you're older, obviously, if you're super out of health, like your health wasn't right and so forth, it could be worse. But if you didn't get all these shots and if you weren't masked up everywhere and doing a million bottles of hand sanitizer, then you were being looked down upon. You were being, mocked or ridiculed or called a granny killer and all these other things. And it was like, so you're getting all this shame on you when you're like, I just want the freedom. Like, I don't believe in this. This is my right. I don't think that this is, I don't believe in this narrative that's being pushed. And then long and behold, 6 months, 12 months, a year and a half, 2, 3, 4 years later now, we're seeing that, it started off that all these statistics were so high that how much this is going to help, up to 90%, 99%, then down to 95, 90, 70%, 60%, 20%. Like it got down to nothing percent, and you need all these other 10 shots and people are still getting it. It's like, you got to realize that people should be criminalized. People should be in jail for the influence that they had in doctors stating these type of things when it was all misguiding Americans, and then people being looked down upon, and the controversy and the division within families, and just, being sold that one, all the fear that they stirred up. That is just crazy. It's nonsense. So I encourage you, make your own damn decisions. Make your own decisions, but also educate yourself. Fact check everything. And don't just do it on Google. Don't just do it look up things on your own and find the right platforms. There's so much data out there that if you just, on both sides, and anything that you hate on Trump for the past, understand that we're all individuals. Like 30 something years ago when he said something nasty or whatever, it's like, come on. He wasn't a Christian then. He's a young billionaire just getting started and so forth in New York, having people thrown at him all over the place. People make mistakes. He wasn't a Christian at the moment. And so there's just so much to be said in so many different ways. I just highly encourage, we all have a past, but we also are looking forward to a better future for ourselves, for our businesses, for the opportunity to start businesses, to get out of debt, to be able to have clean, amazing communities and places that we're proud of, that we can, stand on the biblical rights, and also just the what our founding fathers worked their ass off for. And in addition, for our kids, I'm Jen and I are starting to, we want to have kids in the near future, and it's outrageous what they've done in the school systems, and allowing in many states, you could, just the confusion they're stirring up in the youth of these kids are going to school and think they're a dog or a cat, or they want to identify as something, or they're trying to take away the masculinity within men and make sure that they're confused, and that, well, how do you know you're not gay? How do you know you don't like Timmy doesn't like John? What do you not like human beings? Do you not like, no, I like, as a kid, you're like, no, I like everybody. He's awesome. Maybe I'm bi. No, she's cool too. It's just the confusion behind these kids, and it's wrong. It's wrong. And then having these kids go to school, and then if they want to identify something or get a sex change at such a young, molding age, they don't need the parental permission. It's like, man, we will 1000% be doing homeschooling. We will 1000% be paying premiums to get mentors in to teach them how we believe. And make sure, so many parents are just, and I'm not going to judge parents because it is what it is, society and so forth, but our whole society has gotten weakened in so many ways, me included. The bad food out there, the sweets, not putting ourselves in the uncomfortable space of, cold plunges and working our ass off and improving ourselves so that we can feel better, look better, be confident, bold. And it's mind blowing to see all the chaos that's going on. So I encourage you, however you vote. Like, I'm not going to be able to change somebody that's so stuck in their ways on it's always Democrat for life type of thing. There's going to be a lot like that. They will always just stand with those principles. I do just want to encourage that ignorance isn't okay. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. That you're going to need to, you're going to want to do your own due diligence and taking individuals, the people out of the mix and just look at what they are stating and what they are proposing, and then fact check all of that, and then ask yourself which one has more lies and which one actually do you believe in that they can actually do what they say they're going to do, and who has the better opportunity to actually make that a reality. How is that going to serve you, your family, your community? How is that going to serve the next 4 years? And if you also just look at history itself, because both of these people have already been in office the last 4 years. Harris has had the opportunity with Biden. The last 4 years before that, Trump had the opportunity and was there. So it's like they've already had these opportunities. And what was the facts? Okay. Don't tell me about the stocks have gone up. You're a moron. Your stocks have been inflated. Your money has gone down in value. And it's the debt in America. It's all a big bubble. It's all bullshit. So don't tell me that. And also there's been how many records, again, all bullshit, even when Trump was in office, of how much money the stocks went up. It's bullshit. So don't count your eggs on that, because everything else, lifestyle, if you really get really blunt with it, gas prices and groceries and food, eating and everything else, cars, it's been ridiculous. So anyway, this is enough of my rant. I say it all with love, and I say it because it means a lot to me. How many people in my circle I just know believe in Trump and what could the benefits behind it, right? And then there's so many other people that I'm walking down the street and good, wealthy people, regular people that are, I believe, just being brainwashed on the narrative of the news. And in addition to that, have just been brought up with this, this party and, ride or die, never changing. That's the party. That's it. But they're not fact checking. They're not fact checking all the differences, all the things that are being said and holding conversations. It's she can't hold a conversation because she can't. Everything's been scripted. Everything's been edited. And even just the people that are supporting, like Mark Cuban, ask yourself, why is he supporting so heavy? He's a very smart, intelligent business owner. Why is he supporting so heavy there? Ask yourself, what is the benefits of him supporting? Same thing with Elon Musk on Trump's side. Why is he supporting so heavy? Ask yourself all the things that he's saying, and does it come off genuine, authentic, or is there motives deep down? Ask yourself, fact check all these things for yourself so that you can get the best decision moving forward. But I truly do believe that the Trump side, with all of his other people that he's putting in place, I think this go around, I do believe he's going to win. That's what I'm projecting. But I just believe that there's going to be so many good things that are going to come from it. And I just pray that more people fact check things and challenge don't take my word. It's not you versus me thing. It's just, give yourself credit for being the person to think outside the box and really challenge your thinking and do it in peace. Do it in peace in your heart of take him out of it. The hatred that you have for him, take it out of it. Why do you believe in this party? And why do you think it's going, what policies do you believe in that's going to improve our society and your lifestyle and my lifestyle and our community, our neighborhood, our kids, how do you think all of that's going to change? Okay. So I love you guys all so much. I hope this doesn't offend too many people. I know it will, and I apologize in advance for that. But at the end of the day, I truly believe in this so much. And I also, again, just to repeat, in other places like Ireland and other countries around the world, like they can have a friendly adult conversation behind this, totally disagree, but still cheers at the end and say, God bless you, love you, luck to you, and not get into any bickering about it. Like, life will go on, but I think there's just going to be benefits behind one side versus the other. And I do encourage you to get out there and vote. Let your voice be heard. Don't be shy in these times. There's so many people that are shy or just being quiet and not speaking their truth. And because it's kind of like the communism type of approach. Like I was saying, it's people don't want to be looked down to. They don't want to be challenged. They don't want to be told that they are the granny killer, or like they don't want to stand for their right and be challenged. They don't want Thanksgiving to be awkward. Like, they don't want those things. And it just comes down to put all that to the side because it, like, life will go on, but people deserve to think outside the box. So that's what I'll leave you guys on. I love you guys all so much. I pray this hits you at the proper time, and you can do your own soul searching behind this and truly fact check everything. Don't take anybody's opinion for nothing. Fact check everything. Make your own decision as the adult that you are. And I really do pray that this lands. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. Leave a good review. If you hated this one, please don't leave anything nasty. If you hate me for everything, unfollow me. That's okay. I don't plan to please everybody. That's just not. I can't. I'm just myself, and I hope that you can respect that as I respect your decision in whatever you make, regardless. And whether whoever wins, I will be rooting for America at the end of the day. I will be rooting for a better place for you and I to live, and a better opportunity for you, and rooting you on to start your own business, to grow, scale, to get into real estate, and ideally make it effortless. And everything's going to be a challenge, but anything good is worth the fight. So I encourage you to get out there, fight, make your voice be heard. And I love you guys so much. So follow us on IG, Brandon Elliott Investments, otherwise Credit Counsel Elite. If you're looking to get more financial knowledge about Credit Counsel Elite, check us out at creditcounselelite.com. We got some webinars coming up. Would love to bless you with some proper education on there. And ideally show you how to get massive amounts of funding sooner than later, with interest rates as favorable as possible. Some even as low as 0% interest. You can get up to $500K. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I want to teach you how to do this stuff, so it will empower you for life. It's not for the weak. It's not for the soft. It's for the people that really acknowledge that they can't outsource their push-ups. And once they dive into this information, to be able to get like the rawness of what can be done, it will change your life forever, just like it has for me. So love you guys. Have a blessed night, and I'll catch you next time. God bless.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.